I'm Matt.
I'm Kayla.
I'm Jake.
And we are the Young Americans team. So, little background on what the Young Americans are. They were founded in 1962 by Milton C. Anderson. And they started more as like a traveling show choir. They would go around the country putting on shows, like really just spreading a goal of like American wholesomeness as like an image. So what their goal today is their goal is to spread music education around the globe and put music back into schools. And the way they accomplish this is through their Turn Up the Music campaign. And their goal of the Turn Up the Music campaign is to raise $1 million to put that money back into schools. And the way they fundraise this money is they go around the country putting on summer camps, shows, anything they can do to raise money to put back into schools. So a SWOT analysis it's a basic chart explaining what the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of a client are. So strengths of the Young Americans are they already have an established fan base. They're not starting from ground zero like many of the other companies are. They already have a presence, they already have a reputation. So this is a big advantage when you're trying to market something because we already have an idea of what they are. Also, they have a strong social media presence. They already have 16,000 Facebook likes. They have another 2,000 followers on Instagram. They already they're out there, they're here, you know, we're not promoting nothing. The biggest strength, if you ask me though, is their employees. Every single member that we met was at one point a member of the Young Americans. They were part of the traveling groups, the tour groups, anything. Or they're summer camp counselors. The fact that they're a part of the organization, they grew up in the organization, means they care. And for example, if the company's McDonald's, their employees don't care about McDonald's like the employees of Young Americans care about the Young Americans. Weaknesses. The music's a little outdated. You know, they're doing Stevie Wonder covers. We heard Barry Manilow covers. It's hard to attract students, little small children, to want to do that stuff. The parents want to hear that, but the little kids don't necessarily want to perform that music when they're listening to electronic music, they're listening to rap, they're listening to modern pop. And a lot of to defend that though, is that a lot of that music doesn't have the same image as the Young Americans, which is tough, but it is what the kids are listening to. Another one is that I think they are understaffed and overstaffed at the same time. For example, their PR director, Brooke, she's also their social media director, and she also does all their marketing. These are 3 full-time jobs that one woman is doing. If she can somehow, you know, give somebody else the job of social media and marketing, you might see a strength in a more focused social media campaign. Also, they're overstaffed in the sense that when we were trying to communicate with somebody, when we were trying to get something done, it was always go talk to this person, go talk to this person. When you have to go through so many different people to try to get something done, it's hard to get a universal direction of what needs to be done. An opportunity would be the promotion of their college. The website just launched like a month ago. Before we met the Young Americans, we went through their website, we tried to learn everything about them. It wasn't until we talked to them that we even knew a college existed. It needs to be very apparent that they're trying to get this college promoted. Also, the college needs to get accredited. Because it's not accredited yet, it's going to be hard to attract students. Also, a huge opportunity for them is business-to-business relations. They need to be able to interact with local businesses, violin shops, dance studios, anything. If they can get one instructor there to care about the Young Americans, to understand their message, they can get their students to take an exact interest in the Young Americans. Also, nobody wants to do it, but they do need to ask for donations. They have a huge alumni of people they can ask from, and they should ask. Threats. A huge threat is music taken out of schools. If music is taken out of schools, there's no guarantee that children are ever going to be exposed to music, and they'll never have an interest in it. Also, other summer camps in general, whether this be a basketball camp, a violin camp, any other camp, if it has the same dates as ours, it's a threat because it's competition. Also, just a lack of overall interest in the organization. A lot of kids are going to be hard to convince to want to be part of a singing and dance troupe when they're playing basketball. It's a special demographic you're trying to attract, but it's not what's popular right now, and it's a huge threat if they can't get kids to stay interested. And I will hand it over to Jake now, where he'll talk about key audiences.
Thank you, Matt.
Okay, so first key audience of us was we wanted to focus on the parents of children who were in 3rd grade to 12th grade. The reason why we were focusing on 3rd graders to 12th graders was because these summer camps that they're promoting in Irvine and Tustin are being marketed to these kids in 3rd and 12th grade. And the reason why we wanted to focus on the parents and not the children themselves was because the parents usually have the final say in whether they would do this or not. So if we went to a child, showed them what the Young Americans were doing, the summer camp, they'd be like, oh yeah, that sounds fun, I'd love to do that. But then they go to their parents and they might say no. So that is why we had to focus on the parents more than the actual children themselves. And then 2 and 3, music stores and school districts, and Irvine and Tustin specifically. The reason why we wanted to focus on the music stores was because, again, they're stores who love music, just like the Young Americans. The Young Americans are an organization that loves music themselves. So music, if we were to focus on them and make a type of business relationship with them, they would be more than willing to help with us to promote the Young Americans themselves as well. And with the school districts, where again, as illustrated in chapter 1 by Max, they are looking to give back to schools through of a $1 million goal to give back to schools to keep music education in the school criteria, or to bring it back if it was already cut. And 4th, dance studios and other things like grocery stores, coffee houses like Starbucks and things like that. Reason why we focus on those as well, not only do they have numerous amount of people from the community coming in and would be able to see promotional materials about the Young Americans, but dance studios as well, because the Young Americans also promote as well with music, inspiration through music, but they also focus on performance, on dance, on acting, and things like that, which is why dance studios were a huge part of promoting this as well. Key messages. The basic message, the primary message of the Young Americans can be summed up with their tagline, inspiration through music, or inspiring the world through music. And what they're trying to do with their organization is that they're trying to help build imagination to children. They're trying to build self-confidence, creating critical thinking. And these are all things that music can do, as proven by a study by the National Association for Music Education back in 2014. And the second key message is that we want to promote the Young Americans as being an organization that is all about diversity and unity. They're always looking for new people to come in, no matter what background you have, whatever your gender is, your sexual orientation, your social class, whatever it is, they are wanting anybody and everyone to come in and to basically join the family, to create this feeling of unity and community within them. And last key message, once again, giving back to the schools through their Turn Up Music Foundation, trying to get a $1 million goal to give back to the school districts, to keep music education in the school criteria as said before. Next, strategy, tactics, and tools. Our basic strategy was to just basically spread the name of the Young Americans, what their message was, and just promoting their summer camps. Being able to just get the word out there of what their organization does, what they stand for, and what they what's beneficial, what they can present to children and such that's beneficial to their lives. Tactics. For A and B, we compiled a list of both the music stores that we would go to and also school districts for them to utilize in future campaigns. And social media review and recommendation report, which detailed tips and suggestions of how to basically revamp their social media presence. And tools. First tool was we attended a public event in Irvine, in which we walked around, gave out flyers to people explaining what the Young Americans were, and worked a booth and tried to bring people to our booth, explain what it was, and help them pre-register for their summer camps either in Tustin and Irvine, explain to them what the price was and things of that matter. Second tool was a promotional newsletter. This newsletter was created specifically for the music stores, in which it was sent via email. It basically detailed, again, explained to the news stores what the Young Americans were if they didn't know what they were, and why we were doing this, who we were as well, and when we would come by to give them these promotional materials. And speaking of promotional materials, that is the third and final tool here, which has to do with flyers and posters. As I said previously, we went to music stores and we presented them with these flyers and posters for them to hand out to their customers or just post on the windows of their building, of their business, so that when their customers would come in, they would see these promotional materials, they would see the Young Americans, they would want to go to either the Facebook page or the website of the Young Americans to figure out what they were and see what they were all about. Goals and objectives. First goal, promoting the summer camps. Our objective with this was to basically try to increase the registration of the summer camps in Irvine and Tustin by at least 10% and to promote the camps in Irvine and Tustin respectively. Second goal was spread awareness of organization, and our objectives with this was to promote the Young Americans where it would create an interest in the children. If children didn't know what they were before, or maybe they did but they didn't find interest, we needed to spread the awareness of it more to create that interest so that they would want to join them and be a part of this wonderful organization and become part of their family, basically. And second objective was develop relations with businesses. Again, that came with the music stores, creating relations with those businesses for future campaigns so that perhaps if there's another event, they would be able to work together to help promote themselves together. And finally, the third goal was enhance social media presence. This goes back to our social media recommendation strategy guide that we created, in which it gives tips and suggestions on how to, once again, revamp their social media. So, like how to increase traffic to their Facebook or Twitter pages to get more likes and shares, and just make the pages more interesting. So basically, like on their Instagram posts, Facebook posts, most of their pictures having to do with just groups of the children together, making goofy faces and stuff like that. But it doesn't really tell a story, though, and that's one of the things about our strategy guide, is that it suggests them to post stuff that tells a story, more about what they are, and videos of like their actual performances instead of just the the typical photos of groups of children together just having a good time. And I will now turn over to Kayla with the resources. Thank you.
Okay. So we had 4 main resources with this, 3 kind of, because it's a nonprofit. We didn't have a budget. We had a very limited budget to work with. Luckily for us, though, because it's such an established nonprofit, we did have a lot of promotional materials, such as the flyer you'll see in a couple slides, and also a lot of banners for that community event that was put on by the OC Family organization. We had a lot of entertainment resources. They are an entertainment organization, so they have the people who are very, very talented. They have the stages, the booths, everything like that. And they have a really knowledgeable staff. The staff really does care about the organization, and they know a lot about the organization. They were able to teach us a lot about what we needed to do, kind of, and to get where we thought they should be. This is basically an overview of the timeline. You can find this in the campaign book that you'll receive after the presentation. You can see we had a pretty full timeline from February all the way to May. We had a lot of goals for this organization, so we wanted to kind of hit on one thing at least a week. Outcomes. So, this was the OC Family Camp Fair event, hosted in the Irvine Marketplace. The Irvine Marketplace, if you're familiar with it, it's right on the 5, and it's right between Irvine and Tustin. So it was our target market. It was perfect. We had 2,500 attendees that were our target demographic that we were able to reach out to. We got 65 different pre-registrations, which was fantastic. And we made really good relations with the OC registered photographer, Armando Brown, that was dedicated to the event. That way we could butter him up and hopefully get a lot of exposure. And then also we were able to increase our Brown knowledge of the Young Americans and develop further client relations with the Young Americans, because we got to hang out with them for a whole day. We got to basically be a Young American. We got to see their amazing performance that they put on, and so it really helped kind of full circle bring their organization back. This is that flyer that we distributed sorry, to all of the local businesses. We developed contact lists, we were able to network with them, and we were able to bring an awareness to all of the businesses as well of what the Young Americans were. And then we also put together a social media recommendations report. In this report, we had 10 recommendations that we created via research and analyzing their social media platforms to kind of better tailor what they wanted to do. We established helpful links especially to help them with Periscope. And that was really important because Periscope is one of the larger social media platforms that's coming available. They got 10 million subscribers in the first 4 months they were active. So it's huge that businesses jump on that. And they can also use this report for future campaigns with, hopefully with practical advantage. So success, this is what all of this has brought us to, and we are so proud of what we were able to do for the Young Americans. The OC Register exposure was amazing. We got over 800,000 impressions. Out of the 165 pictures that Armando Brown took, we were featured in 24 of them, so 15%. And the average of all the other groups' pictures was 10. So we're done. There were 2,500 attendees, and they were able to put on an amazing performance and really get kids actively involved. Like I said before, we got 65 free registrations for the summer camps. Success in our local business outreach. We distributed 400 flyers and posters to 27 different businesses. This included 12 music and dance stores, 4 supermarkets, 8 coffee shops, and 3 women's fitness centers. We chose these other community resources because according to a 2013 Forbes study, women are the most powerful consumers still, and that's what they all have in common, is women is their target demographic. We decided to go with this tactic of bringing the flyers to the businesses rather than just emailing promotional material, because in a 2014 Nielsen study, 56% of people reported that they were more engaged by personal delivery of promotional materials rather than email. This is 20% higher than the engagement with email. So it's very important that you get a face in front of them. So overall, in mid-April of 2015, Tustin had 15 registrations. Mid-April of this year, they had 25. It's a 66% increase. It blew our 10% goal out of the water. Also, the first year of Irvine, it exceeded Tustin's 4th year during the summer camps. So in Tustin's 4th year, 2015, they had 15 registrations in mid-April. Irvine had 16. So we can definitely with 100% certainty say that our campaign was successful in that aspect. Also, we established a lot of tools for our client. We established a social media report and a school contact list they can use in future campaigns with practical advantage. So overall, we just wanted to thank you guys so much for this wonderful opportunity that you were able to give us, this great learning experience, and letting us be a part of your organization. And we really do hope that you'll continue to help or use practical advantage in the future.
Thank you.